Is the U.S. at all concerned about Mr. Mohammed confessing behind his elections? And if so, why?
Yes, we are concerned. Anytime the U.S. Department of Treasury sanctioned individual has the potential to become a member of government, that is concerning for us. It's problematic in multiple ways because the way that we as the U.S. government can interact with the government, we have to be very careful if that person is involved. Let's say he were on a certain committee. We would have to be very careful in working with that committee. We have to make sure that we didn't work with him specifically. So that's a bit of an issue, yes. And the other thing that concerns me a bit more, however, is that when you see an OFAC sanctioned individual become a part of an official within a government, it sends concern through the private sector of the United States. So you see U.S. companies often rethinking their relationships in the country. We saw it in Afghanistan. We've seen it in other countries as well. They sometimes look to de-risk or to even just cut ties with the country. And we're in such a beautiful position right now. All these U.S. companies want to come to Guyana, and Guyana is welcoming so warmly all of these U.S. companies. And I don't want, if he were to become a member of the government, that to change. So that's a real concern that I have.
What about if he becomes a regular member of parliament in the opposition? Is that still a concern?
Well, yes, he would still be a member of government, so that would be a concern for us. Yes.
Could we expect any moves from the U.S. government in terms of moving past the sanctions? Any further investigations in relation to the Mohammeds?
I can't really speak to that at the moment. We just know that he was sanctioned on June 11, 2024, and those sanctions remain. But I can't really speak to anything further at this time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
One more question, and we will wrap up this session.
I just want to come back in quickly. I've just only been able to read your energy plan so far from the Manifesto. And
Okay.
I do know that it mentions wind and solar, as you mentioned in your presentation. I just like if you can tell us perhaps what's your expected power demand. What's the power demand you're aiming to satisfy? Because I don't see it mentioned here. And if you believe that wind and energy and the gas ashore project that you mentioned here will satisfy that power demand.
And sir, the tax concessions, how much would the cost of treasury on an annual basis, and your pensions, how much you think it will also cost of treasury? Increase pensions and salaries.
Well, the pensioners, we have about 5,000 pensioners in the country. It will cost us $60 billion per year.
On your increases?
Yes, on my increases, $60 billion.
And tax concessions, when they have to give up those, how much it will cost of treasury annually?
We average about $200 billion total. And we have the money, sir.
Yes.
We have the money.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to a special edition of Sheriff's Podcast. Tonight, we're doing this podcast at 9 p.m. as promised, and we're doing a deep dive into, as promised earlier in earlier episodes, we will do a deep dive into Team Mohammed's Manifesto launch. Today was the most horrible Manifesto launch I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've seen many Manifesto launches. I've read most of the manifestos that was produced by the PPPC government and the APNU, what is it? Is it the APNU and AFC manifesto? Now, I want to read to you something tonight. And I want to start off by saying that the title of this podcast is Mohammed stole gold. Now he's stealing ideas. He stole so much that he can't resist now in stealing ideas. I want to read to you a quick synopsis of something my co-host wrote. And he said, from a cursory review, the OFAC sanctioned political party, so-called Manifest, is 100% plagiarized from the PPPC's well-documented plan and policies, some of which have already been implemented or in its implementing stages. Considerable amount of work has been already done to amend the Local Content Act by the PPPC government, with the private sector consultation, as you know. The PPP already announced a SME Develop Bank in this term, they have already announced an SME Development Bank. That announcement was made a while ago. Ease of doing business, which are already in motion, such as single window initiative. Now, the manifesto that the sanctioned party or the Team Mohammed's party had today, they had the same thing. It said they wanna make business easier by rolling out a single window initiative. I don't know who is advising Team Mohammed, or they don't pay attention to the country, but my point here being is that Guyana already has a single window initiative for doing business. For example, let me give you an example of a single initiative window. When you're filing for a plan in housing, you'd know there's no need to submit and go into housing anymore. You basically just submit everything online. That's single initiative. You submit all your paperwork online, they come back to you, they tell you what you reject, what is accepted, and you continue the process until your entire plan is approved. And that goes the same way for the single initiative business and ease of doing business in Guyana. This is a national embarrassment for a political party to plagiarize a ruling party manifesto, policies and plan, failing to bring an iota of originality, which they promised to do. Mr. Mohammed, you promised to bring a new initiative, new ideas, and you went ahead and you just copied the PPPC's manifesto. Plagiarism is a crime, sir. I just want to let you know, plagiarism is a crime. And you know, there's another thing I want to get into tonight, and we're not going to have a long discussion tonight. We're going to have a short discussion because we're doing a deep dive into his manifesto. This is just a short synopsis of where this guy or this potential presidential candidate, right, cannot even do maths. So, as you know, Dennis Chabral from Demara Raves asked him a question today. And I'm sorry I'm reading off my phone. I can't remember everything off my head. So Dennis Chabral asked the presidential hopeful, Azadin Mohammed, how much would it cost the Treasury for the old age pension he promised to pay the pensioners? His response, which was Steve Mohammed's response, or Mr. Mohammed's response, is we have about 85,000 pensioners, and it would cost the Treasury $60 billion. Last night, he said he would pay pensioners $100,000 per month. Now, according to the maths, I know maths, 85,000 times 100,000 per month times 12 months is 102 billion. How exactly did you end up with 60 billion? I mean, we all went to maze together. So, I mean, I learned the same maths that you learned. But coming back to the promise of you making a change or development, all you did was plagiarize the manifesto from PPPC, and you just add on a couple things to your manifesto and you call it a day. That's why we constantly heard from you very soon, very shortly, because you're waiting for them to bring out their manifesto, wait a couple days, and then you just went on to plagiarize, and plagiarism is a crime in Guyana. Now, I wanna read something from your manifesto that I have. And just give me a second here, viewers, So, your manifesto said, what will we do? Improve ease of doing business in Guyana. Let me enlighten you. Ease of doing business in Guyana, it's already here. You can go in and get a business registration within a couple of days. Ease of doing business in Guyana is here. The People's Progressive Party has already done this. So what exactly are you doing? You're just copying their initiative? Are you just gonna, let's just say, for some odd reason you win this election? Hey man, producer, take out the dog thing. We ain't talking about doggy right now, please. Right? We ain't talking about doggy right now. Then establish business incubators. We already have SMEs. The government has already announced that they are in this term and the next term, they are doing the SMEs. So, did you know what an SME was before the PPPC administration announced it? I don't think so. Establish an SME development bank. First of all, which bank will lend you money, right, to start this SME develop bank in Guyana? Because you need money to lend money. You're a sanctioned businessman. You can't do any business anywhere in the world. Nobody wants to do business with you. In the beginning of this video, you saw the U.S. ambassador. My viewers, you saw the U.S. ambassador said what she said. She's completely right about what she said. And she hopes that he doesn't get into parliament, or quote unquote, if I'm misquoting her, Mrs. Ambassador, I'm sorry. But this is the same thing that happened in Afghanistan, where a sanctioned personnel became a member of parliament. People couldn't do business. U.S. businesses pulled out, etc., etc. And a host of National Innovation Summit and amend the Local Content Act of 2021. I mean, look, let's be real here for a second. Let's be fair. You've copied, and not copied, you've plagiarized the entire PPPC manifesto. And all you did is you add if they say they give me 60,000, you say you give 75. If they say they open in an SME bank, you say the same thing. So, how is it exactly do you plan to run this country? I watched your launch of the manifesto. First of all, you couldn't even, the mic wasn't even set up properly. That was the first issue. The mics weren't even set up properly. You had to be a special invitee, by the way, right, to attend this failure of a launch of a manifesto. That's what you have to call it, a failure of a launch of a manifesto. And then when you were asked questions, your campaign manager or your advisor, Odessa Primus, or whatever her name is, took over and started to fumble. Now, how can we trust a man, and I'm speaking to the Guyanese people right now and our voters out there and potential swing voters and our young audiences, right? How can we trust a man that just goes out and plagiarizes stuff? Right? You can't even, the maths ain't mathsing. Last night you say you're giving $100,000 to 85,000 pensioners. Right? Today now you say you can give 60,000. Make up your mind what you're going to do. You can't be running for president, the highest office of the land, and then don't understand what you're saying. You have to be well briefed, well educated, well spoken. First of all, you start out the press conference, couldn't hear anything going on. I mean, maybe it wasn't your fault, it was a mic issue. But it was a failure of a launch of a manifesto. Now, how did you come up with this manifesto? Can you explain to the Guyana public and the voters more questions when being asked? Last night I saw a video of Livewire asking you a question. You didn't answer the question. All we heard were scrapes. Don't know what, maybe that's a call for security. And you basically brushed Livewire off. You couldn't answer the question. At least today you showed up at your own manifesto. I was surprised. Because coming back to what I was saying, and the general consensus of your manifesto, it makes no sense. And you know why it makes no sense? It's because you plagiarized that manifesto. And I told you this before. I said, we will go through your manifesto and we will deep dive into your manifesto. Now, my Guyanese brothers and sisters, the grass is never greener on the other side. It might look greener, but it's never greener. This guy steals ideas. He's already stolen from the Guyana public, the Guyana GRA, stealing from the Guyana Geology and Mines royalties because he smuggled gold. Now he's stealing ideas, plagiarizing ideas. I mean, look, people want to give you a chance, but you can't answer the questions that are being asked to you by even Dennis Robral. First of all, you sent out a press conference release today that you're going to have a press conference. Then your team sent back it and said it was fake. Then you use the same wording again and you send it out back and you said special invitees only. Producer, am I correct? And we have that as well. So, the Win Party has more problems than solutions. You said you're 59 days old, but you also have 59 problems. And the 59 problem starts from 1 year sanction. You are a sanctioned businessman. Was a businessman. You can't be a businessman anymore. 2, all the persons around you, visas have been revoked. I saw that you newly appointed a deportee to your party. Now, where was Mark France? Is he the new camera guy? From Agnew, who signed a pact with you to join forces? Was he the camera guy today? So, the Team Mohammed, in essence, the Team Mohammed basically copied every single thing from the PPPC manifesto and added on a couple of $1,000 here and there. And that was it. This guy has no idea how to run a country. Forget the country. Let's go back when he was sanctioned. The reason you're sanctioned is because you're doing illicit and illegal and corrupted business, and that means you didn't know how to run a successful business, and the only way for you to make money at that point was to do illegal business. Now, by doing that, you got sanctioned, right? Now, you got sanctioned and you were hoping that the PPPC and the other parties will come and give you a hug and say, yes, we're so sorry. But when you were making your money and you were falsifying your documents to GRA for your Lamborghini, right? You were living the best life. We all saw the pictures of the women, and I don't want to get into that tonight. But we've all seen how you defame women and their bodies. So that's 2. 3, the local banking sector has now revoked all loans, bank accounts, and today I heard another bank followed suit. They cannot do business with sanctioned personnel or persons that are associated with sanctions personnel. Ghana follows the Anti-Terrorism Money Laundering Act. And that act is constantly being reviewed by the organization. I don't know what the organization is called, but they are constantly being reviewed and you gotta say being tested to make sure that system works perfectly fine. Now, you come back and you plagiarize the entire thing. You stole from the country, now you're stealing ideas. So, you're no better than the scrapes that you hang out with. Now, I want my producer to play a video of Doggy calling Indo-Guyanese words, and I want the ethnic committee, the ERC, to get involved in this. I will actually write a letter to the ERC tomorrow, complain about this. Producer, can you cue that video, please?
Any good coolie is a dead coolie. Any good coolie is a dead coolie. Any good coolie is a dead coolie. Any good coolie is a dead coolie.
I want to get back to what Doggy said. A good coolie is a dead coolie. I don't know what a good coolie is a dead coolie is. So this man has breached an ERC rule. This is another man that you came to rescue when the man pulled the gun on a woman, beat up the woman in front of the public. It was caught on live TV. Well, it was caught on and somebody streamed it live. We picked it up first. And what you have racist people in your party, racial people in your party. What do you mean by a good coolie is a dead coolie? Do you plan to pull a Jim Jones on us all, coolie people? Because remember, Jim Jones gave everybody the Kool-Aid and all of them died. Is that the plans? I don't know, because from what I see, Doggy said he's a member of your party. He's going to be a minister. He never dreamt of being a minister. So he said a good coolie is a dead dog, a coolie. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, and my viewers, please be careful of what you drink and you eat at the rallies that you're going and the free food that's being provided to you by the Team Mohammed's party. Now, I just wanted to play that video because that video not only annoyed me, it annoyed Afro-Guyanese, it annoyed Indo-Guyanese, it annoyed the Amerindians. Because Guyana is not a racism country. Don't try to bring that to us. And that is exactly what you are. And you are trying to bring that to our country. You are a sanctioned businessman that a vote for you is a vote for Maduro. Let's not forget when you had the Panamanian, sanctioned Panamanian businessman paid for the win t-shirts, and then you ship it through a third party. And when we got the third party information. And if any of that information is not true, and we can't prove it in court, then sue us. Simple. But everything we see on the Sheriff Podcast either comes to light and it's true. Now let me get back to I want to cut this topic short. Plagiarism is a crime. You stole from Guyana, now you're stealing ideas from the Guyanese people. You're stealing ideas from a party that has been a long-standing party. You have no intellectual capability of coming up with a professional, well-worded, well-educated, a manifesto that can be well executed. You have none of that. What you have is a plagiarized manifesto, and I hope the Guyanese people go and read his manifesto and go and read the PPPC's manifesto and see what it is. This, what I'm surprised about, that I hope you, first of all, I hope y'all pay those people in Parfaith Harmony. Anybody who didn't get paid from Parfaith Harmony, please call us at Sheriff Podcast, and we will put you on to the director of payment, Doggy, to get you paid. Hopefully he doesn't beat you this time, or you gotta fight for your payment. That's one. Two, you're just a thief, buddy. That's all I have to say. You're just a thief. You continue to tell and fool the Amerindians and the Indo-Guyanese and the Afro-Guyanese that you're going to make Guyana better. Somebody asked you today, ask Odessa Primus, I don't know why I call her Primus, maybe because I don't know. But somebody asked her today, what is the power, what is the question, producer, what is the power the power output that you're expecting to put out? You fumble on the question because you didn't even understand. You guys don't, at the Win Party, you don't understand anything. You don't understand the gas energy project. You don't understand SME. You don't understand that we already have the easy initiative to get business running, where you can go and get your business registration faster. You don't even understand the housing sector. I haven't heard anything about the housing sector. In their manifesto, they had anything about the housing sector. So, what really is the game plan here? What really? Just be a man and drop out the race. You can't always want to, as your parties call, win. You've already lost. People are seeing the true colors. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I've said it day in and day out. Now the local banks are closing your accounts. Well, they've already closed your accounts. They're closing everybody accounts that are associated with you, people that are taking out pictures. Remember, now in Guyana, when you gotta open a bank account, you have to get a picture of yourself. So the banks will look at people who voted for T. Mohammed, or are taking out pictures and entertainment at his rally, because that is what it's just an entertainment show. So I want to end this podcast tonight by saying, Mr. Mohammed, your manifesto revealed today was a failure, if you can't see that and you think that your manifesto was a success and wasn't plagiarized, and plagiarism is a crime in Guyana, then something is clearly wrong with you. Something is clearly wrong with your party. Something is clearly wrong with your advisors. And I can only tell you what I see, what I hear, and the truth. Now, Sheriff Podcast will give you a second chance, and I think the Guyanese people will give you a second chance to redo your manifesto and not copy the PPPC's manifesto. Now, I want you to know that elections is a few days or a few months away. Well, you gotta say days really, because days are flying by fast. And when you're voting, you vote for the PPPC. You make sure you put the X, your X in the box. Put your X, make sure it doesn't touch the line. And you're voting for the regional elections and the general elections. As you see on my screen, how to vote on September 1st. Again, don't be fooled by the crowds that you're seeing and you're going to say, man, you know, man, my neighbor going to go out and vote. I'm not going to go out and vote. No. The PPPC has laid the foundation this 5 years. And to build a house, I'm going to use that as an example, you need the same contractor to continue building that house until it's finished. And the PPPC administration work is not finished. The Irfan Ali's administration is not finished building Guyana. I must commend the PPPC for what they're doing. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not a party member. I'm just a proud supporter of the PPPC. Sometimes you have to come out and fight for what is right. A lot of people don't have the, what can I say, the kahunas to say what I say about T. Muhammad. They are afraid to voice their concerns. They are afraid that they are going to, remember, this man is an alleged murderer, an alleged gold smuggler, alleged a lot of things. So people are afraid to come out and say anything bad against the T. Muhammad's party. It's only a few of us, myself, and a few other, well, I would say one other person, or two other persons are willing to come out and say the truth and speak the truth. My Guyanese brothers and sisters, read his manifesto and go and read PPP's manifesto that they have put out. It's an exact replica of it. The only difference is the amount of money that you're going to get. And if a man is so selfish enough to not pay royalties on 10,000 kilo of gold, and that's just the amount we know of and the US know of. I am sure there are many thousands of kilos more that went out that we don't know of and the US don't know of. But there's another round of sanctions coming around again. Right? So I want to say to you, my Guyanese brothers and sisters, we have a party that is basically a racial party. We played the video for you that where Doggy said, good coolie is a dead coolie. I don't know what that means. Maybe the man can poison us all like Jim Jones did to his people. I don't know. So please be careful when you're eating and drinking anything from the Win Party, when you attend their rallies. My Afro brothers and my Afro brothers and sisters, my Indo brothers and sisters, the same. My Amerindian brothers, the same. Right? I had to do this podcast tonight because I couldn't hold in my laughter when I saw the manifesto. And we said this on this podcast before, that is a complete plagiarism. It will be a complete plagiarism of the PPPC. The man wants to be Bharat Jagdeo so bad that he will do anything. Mohammed wants to be Bharat Jagdeo so bad that he will do anything. But you cannot outsmart Bharat Jagdeo, the Honorable Vice President of Guyana. That man is a seasoned politician. He will buy you and sell you. Well, I don't know if he could sell you because he was a smuggle man. But you have to come out and do the right thing, Mr. Mohammed. You have to come out and you promise the people of Guyana change. But the only change you did was you shortchanged them by giving them the PPPC manifesto. You stole from Guyana, now you're stealing the ideas from the government. So I want to say to my Guyanese brothers and sisters, have a good night. I'll catch you in the next podcast. Sheriff Bar is open until 4 a.m. this morning. Or, well, I have to say this morning or tomorrow morning. And I want to say, vote PPPC. Vote for a party that actually knows what they're doing. Don't vote for a party that plagiarizes. And plagiarism is a crime. Somebody should charge this man and charge this party with a crime. I can't understand how GCOM can't kick this man. I don't know, maybe there's a law somewhere, but there must be a law somewhere that says you cannot copy another party's manifesto. That's one. Two, how can they GCOM allow a party to run and they're running on somebody else's manifesto? I don't understand, maybe because I'm not a lawyer by profession, or I don't know the laws of Guyana as much, but I want to leave you and my viewers with this. Azzedine Mohammed stole from the Guyanese people, and now he's stealing from the current ruling government manifesto. So that should tell you, if he gets into parliament and he gets any type of votes, what he's going to do. And all the people that surround him there on that table, that square table today, all of you will be kicked like how Doggy was kicked out and brought in back. I'll catch you in the next one. We'll take a deep dive into the manifesto as it comes along.